second trimester. I thought it would be fun to do like a recap, rewind of everything that I went through during my first trimester, how I knew I was pregnant, how my body was feeling, and all the symptoms, all that good stuff, and tips that helped me. I just think it's fun. Even when I wasn't pregnant, like I would look at videos like this just to see like how it would be, because I didn't know what it would be like. And then if you are pregnant, yeah, just kind of getting another perspective, because everybody's situation is different, I feel like, because everything I watched, but I took bits and pieces from each thing I looked into, and like each experience from other people, and I just implemented that in my experience, I guess. And like that was what I was going through, and I was taking their advice bits and pieces, if that makes sense. Cool, so let's dive into it. Okay, we're about to do this. I found out when I was about like 4 weeks pregnant, like 5 weeks maybe, is when I found out. Very first thing was not a missed period. It was leading up to when I was going to start my period. My boobs, it was my boobs. Like sometimes, you know, like when you're about to start your period, they get super sore or like a little bit itchy, or like they just kind of swell a little bit. And that only happened to me when I was about to have like an intense period. So I just thought I was about to have an intense period. And then my cramps too, they were way more intense than usual, and like kind of like sharp pains instead of like the dull, constant ache. Hey Pepper. So I thought that was weird. I'm out of breath. I get out of breath. That's another thing. I was extremely exhausted. That was actually after I found out though, or like right around when I did. They were just huge, and I was like, why are they so big right now? I don't understand. So once I missed my period, I waited to take a test until 10 days after I missed it. I was just scared. I was like, this is not real. I'm just stressed out right now. That's what it is. I was thinking of every single excuse not to be pregnant, because we obviously weren't planning it at the time. Things happened. Yeah. So let me think. So basically I took the test. It was positive. Kind of explain the like actual story of that in a different video probably, because I just want to go through my symptoms right now. My pregnancy brain like cannot multitask. I don't want to go through the whole story of like me finding out, telling Randy and my family and friends and all that stuff. But yeah, so I found out around week 5, and then I obviously scheduled an actual appointment to just confirm that that's what it was, even though I knew that's what it was. I was like, whoa, it was crazy. But different story. I'll explain that another time. Right around after I found out was when I was not throwing up yet, but I was getting so nauseous. My smells, like food aversions, certain things that smelled a certain way, really triggered me, and I just did not want to be in the room or in the vicinity of that at all. Like my senses were so heightened, it felt like it was just disgusting. Like things were just so disgusting to me, and I remember like it put me in such a foul mood for a couple weeks. Like it was just bad, and make my like mouth water, feeling like I'm about to throw up, but then I didn't, and that only lasted about a week. But it would be random things like I just didn't want to cook. I hated the smell of cooked, like I couldn't eat like chicken or steak or eggs, or like any type of meat was disgusting to me. Literally was so gross. Vegetables, gross. Fruit, good. Other random things you wouldn't even expect that wasn't food. If Randy got home from work and he like, I could smell, if he got back from the gym, I could smell the sweat like so profusely, and I did not want him near me. Like you had to immediately take a shower. You had to immediately like clean up. Yeah, I just remember it was so gross. I don't know, and like normally it wouldn't be, but yeah, like certain smells of like sprays or candles, perfumes, lotions, whatever, body wash, random stuff like I just didn't like. So that was the very first thing. after I found out I was pregnant was like the food aversions and the smells and things like that. Let me think. Okay, let me think. What the fuck? Why is my brain not working? I'm so distracted. So food aversions, stinky stuff. After that, I started throwing up. So after I was only nauseous and I wasn't throwing up yet, then I started actually getting down and dirty with vomiting so hard, so bad. And so every single morning when I woke up, and this was like week 6 to 10 probably, is when I was throwing up. At first it was like just that nausea and then maybe throwing up once or twice or 3 times. And then it turned into the nausea was just immediate vomiting, and it was like so miserable. I'm just being honest, like it was so miserable. Like you feel like you have the flu almost, like your body's aching. I cry when I throw up, so like every morning waking up like crying, half asleep, like throwing up, and throwing up nothing, like just like stomach bile. Sorry, TMI, but yeah, just like whatever is in your stomach and like saliva, whatever, just throwing that up, and then dry heaving and having nothing in you made you feel so empty, literally. Like it just, and you were also like moody. You're also still going through the boob stuff, still going through the cramping stuff. And I also added on headaches during that time too. I was getting headaches. It was just bad. Like it was like your body is changing so rapidly and it's in overdrive, like trying to cook up this baby. And I felt like I was not getting the nutrients I needed because I was throwing up everything I ate. But like a tip for that, just small snacks. Like I would have dry cereal. I would have like peanut butter pretzels that was like the thing that helped so much. I remember peanut butter filled like pretzels, squares with a little bit of salt on it. Oh, it tasted so good. The only thing like that would help settle my stomach a little bit. I would still end up throwing it up, but it did help relieve it a little bit. Just little tiny snacks like peanut butter crackers, things like that. So my morning sickness wasn't just in the morning, it was morning, afternoon, evening. It was after like everything I ate. Another tip is like, because I ate like 6 to 8 small snacks a day. I never ate a full meal. I never was to the point where like, ooh, I was like totally satisfied, full, I had a great meal. It was never like that for about a month and a half. Like you just basically, you eat just to throw up at least something instead of that stomach bile, and you're trying to get as much nutrients as you can. So you're just doing the best that you can, and yeah. But people say that ginger helps or ginger ale helps, but I felt like for me personally, or even like Sprite, things like that, anytime I would try that, me naturally, like when I drink pop in general, I like burp a lot. If I take one drink, I'll burp like 3 huge manly burps, like intense. I don't know. I'm a burper. I don't know. So that made me feel like I had to throw up more because of like the carbonation in the pop. So that didn't really help me, but some people say it helps settle their stomach. Me, it wasn't something that helped. I did try to buy like ginger snaps, things like that. Didn't really help because I just didn't have a taste for it. Like it was hard to force myself to eat something I didn't want to eat. It really is just a matter of you like experimenting, and each week I felt like was different. Sometimes I didn't want those peanut butter crackers, but they were like the staple. But sometimes I didn't want a certain dry cereal or whatever it was. I just couldn't do it. So I just kind of experimented along the way and found out what was best for me and just did my best. Like the main thing is just do your best and you'll figure it out. The cats are like growling under the couch right now. Another thing is I was so thirsty, which right now I'm a little bit thirsty. I was so thirsty, but it felt like everything I drank I threw up. Especially, yeah, like any liquid, like it's going. It is not staying. It is going. Having too much liquid after you eat the small snack is not good, because you are definitely immediately, like, at least my experience, if I drink too much water and there was too much like moving around in there, I immediately would throw it up, and it was just miserable. Try to let the hard dry foods like settle in, and then an hour later drink the water, then an hour later eat the snack. Like, I never drank and ate at the same time, because for me, I felt like it made it worse, and it made me not keep down the dry food as long as I wanted to. But yeah, so enough on nausea and vomiting, like, because some people don't have it too. I just feel like I had so much progesterone, the hormone in my body at the time. I've heard that just causes, they're crazy. That just causes a lot more stuff, like a lot more throwing up and stuff. But yeah, enough with that. Another thing is just your emotions and your hormones. Whoa, it was crazy. I was like so emotional, and I felt like the world was ending. I felt one day I would be on such a high because maybe I threw up a little bit less and I had more energy. I wasn't as fatigued. Like, I felt so good. Good, but I still felt bad. Yeah, like one day I would have a really good day, and then I'd be on a high, and then the next day I would just cry everything. I would cry. I would just sob over little things. I would just get in my head and like think about stuff. Like, I could sob if I was happy. I could sob if I was sad. If I was mad, I would immediately cry. Like, if me and Randy had any type of like small thing where I didn't think he understood me, I would cry so hard. And it's like you can feel yourself being overly dramatic. Like, I could feel myself being dramatic, but I could not help it. I couldn't get it to stop. You guys are like crazy right now. Kiska. Just being emotional, and like your life is about to change too. Like, it wasn't just hormones, but the hormones heightened everything, and I could just feel myself being very dramatic sometimes. He was just like, hey, just realize, like, you know, it's okay. Like, just realize it's okay. And you just have to keep saying that to yourself, like, it's okay. It will be okay. It's fine. I think like my self-esteem went pretty low because when your body's changing so abruptly, like, I was just so bloated. I didn't have like a bump yet. I just felt bloated and like just chunky. But then I lost weight, but I was still super bloated. I lost weight because I couldn't eat that much. I lost like 12 pounds in my first trimester. Your self-esteem just kind of goes down a little bit, because I know I lost weight and I didn't like that. Like, I literally felt like a pale zombie. Like, I was thirsty. I was just hungry. I was dehydrated. I was trying to do the best I could, and I couldn't even keep down my prenatals for a while, which was like making me upset too, because I was just nervous about the baby. It was just a lot, but I was fine. Like, everything's fine, but it's just at first you've never gone through it, or maybe you have, but this is a different experience. Like, I don't know, my body was just so in shock, and it was a lot to deal with all at once. But yeah, but I feel like just having people around you that support you, as long as they are just there and they're just being your friend, being your person, being your family, like, just being around people also makes you feel a little bit better. I remember like the days that I was just alone and feeling crappy, because I took off work for a couple weeks when I had really bad morning to all day sickness. The days that I would be so alone, I felt so alone because my hormones and stuff. I felt like I had nobody and I was going through this all alone. But honestly, all women go through this. Like, most women who have babies go through the fatigue, go through the exhaustion. Like, I would sleep for hours and hours. Like, I would go to bed at like 8 p.m. I remember some nights, like 7 or 8, and then wake up at like 10 in the morning. Like, I slept so long sometimes, and it made me feel crappy, but it also, like, I felt like I never got enough rest. But then when I woke up so late, I would feel like guilty because I woke up so late. or whatever it may be. Just have people around you that support you, and they may not understand exactly what you're going through, but give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, just do it. Just, it's okay. It will be okay. And it does pass, because I felt like it was never gonna pass, and now it's like I barely even remember. Like, I remember it, but it's like I don't remember exactly experiencing it, like the feeling of it. It just passes, just like anything else that's hard in life. But yeah, in the second trimester, I'll make a video on that, but I'm so grateful to be in the second trimester and like to not be going through that. So it does pass, and like you'll be fine. But yeah, so I think that's about it that I'm gonna go through. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so excited for you if you are pregnant. Like, that's an amazing experience, and you just want to look back on it and like just, you know, have good feelings. And I do, even though it was so miserable, like during some of the moments of the first trimester, I'm happy I went through it, because it makes me that much stronger on the other side. Like, I'm ready for labor, man. I went through that freaking turning into a zombie crap. I can do this. Know that you're not going through it alone. Other people have gone through it. Everyone will continue to go through it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you learned a lot. I hope it was entertaining, even if you're not pregnant and you're just like, whoa, like, oh, that's what happens, like what? But yeah, thank you so much. See you in the next one.